this is what you don't want to happen, and it just happened. Most of the team isn't gonna relocate. That means that most of the team is losing their jobs. Hey everybody, Justin Grimm here. And I lived with this weird dichotomy of you guys knowing my last name, but having no idea who I am. I think it's about time to change that. So let's bring it way back. I got into Subaru around 2001, 2002. During college, I got involved with a local Subaru club right after I bought my first 2002 World Rally Blue WRX. And I actually really enjoyed that. I had my side group of friends, my old friends, but then I had this new group of people that all shared this same passion with me. And we became really close-knit. And so I spent a lot of time actually helping grow that club. But then it got to a point where I was spending so much time working on the club, I thought, why don't I do this as a career? And at that time, I was working for a Fortune 500 company, sitting in my cube, but then outside of work, I had this amazing love for this Subaru community. And so those two things kind of hitting at the same time to like, I want to go do a job in that. And so that was the very moment where I'm like, get out of this boring job. Can I do anything in this community that I love so much? And didn't have a whole lot of money. I just graduated, so I couldn't, design a product and buy SolidWorks and 3 scanners and all this stuff. I couldn't do any of that. So the easiest way to start was just doing something manual. And so I thought of doing some porting and polishing. So basically all you need is like a 10, 20 gallon air compressor tank, a die grinder, and some earmuffs, face mask, and your time. So for 6 to 8 months, I went to my day job, came home, and then started porting and polishing on the side, grinding away every night after my day job for another 6 to 8 hours every day. So there's a point, I want to say it was within a year of porting and polishing, that I felt that there's only so many hours in the day that I can work. I'm limited by having to sleep and eat, and the rest of the hours I'm working. So I knew this wasn't a scalable enterprise. I couldn't do it. I couldn't envision this growing anything really outside that townhouse garage. And so I had a friend that worked at a Meineke store, or he managed a Meineke store. And there was a part of the EJ exhaust manifold system that had a cross pipe. There was 2 collectors and a cross pipe. And that cross pipe was really tiny. And so I figured, let's make that bigger. My friend at Meineke was all for it. I remember the very first batch was 50 cross pipes. What I did was take the OEM unit. Remember, I don't have SolidWorks. I'm not an engineer. I can kind of play one, but I'm not drawing anything up. I took the stock one to him. He made it up. I told him to make it 2 inches or whatever it was. And it was even made out of mild steel, which was a terrible mistake because so many of them cracked along one of the bends. But that was the process. Maybe we can just take an OEM part and send it to Meineke and have them make it up. And that's what we did. 50 units, that was the first shot. I did a group buy. I have a memory burned into my, a picture burned into my memory of, in my townhouse garage, I was still in the garage, a stack of cross pipe boxes all ready to go. And I had this big stack of 50, and I remember doing the math in my head. Okay, these are like, I want to say they're $180 a piece, and I have no idea what my cost was for them, but it was a lot more than me just grinding away on metal. And so I had 50 of them. So 50 times, let's say, $50 each, right? All of a sudden it's like, whoa, that's a change. And that's what really set my mindset on, okay, I'm going to keep doing the porting stuff. We'll get some more help, but that's not where the growth of this company is. The growth is making products that we can put on pallets and ship them out. If we fast forward 10 years, that 10-year period was an insane amount of growth, okay? And it was one of the best 10-year periods of my entire life. We had the most amazing customers, and because we were also the customers, our team, we were all super passionate. And so around 2015, 2016, I was starting to get a little burnt out. Okay, that's all there is to it. From my role as being sole owner of this company, that took its toll. There's just no doubt about it. Okay, you never turn anything off, ever. There's always 1,000 things going on. You can never shut this brain down. You can't compartmentalize an entire company and all these things going on. It's just not possible. And so around 2015, 2016, I was having these feelings. And so I started just the idea of, would I sell this company? In my head, that was never a thought. I never went into this business thinking, I'm gonna build something and sell it and make a bunch of money. That wasn't even on my radar. That only came to fruition, like I said, because I was getting a little burnt out. It was taking a toll on me. And so I started poking around. And one of our biggest customers had been sold to private equity recently. Nobody got laid off. They had more money to work with. The founder didn't have to do any of the stuff he didn't want to do, which a lot of times is HR and IT and accounting and all that stuff. And so to me, that was super appealing. And I started going down that path, okay? The more I went down, the more I knew it was the right decision. I already had felt a weight lifting off of, I'm not gonna be solely responsible for this entire enterprise. That really helped push me to, I can not only release that, I can actually take some chips off the table. So if I sell, maybe there's a next chapter in this. From that moment of when I sold to the next 5 years, it's a complete roller coaster, to the highest highs and then to the lowest lows over the course of 5 years. So after we sold, the biggest fear of mine is the company that bought us was full of crap. I was still scared, like, they were just giving me lip service during negotiations, that they weren't gonna change anything, whatever. Well, I found out they were true, they were honest. And they didn't change a dang thing. They just supported everything we wanted to do. They said, don't change who you are. You guys know the secret sauce. So the little nugget that I did not know at the time was private equity firms have a holding period for their portfolio of companies. And I don't know if there's a law about it or not, but there's a certain kind of like holding period. I think it's like 5 to 8 years or something like that, where they generally hold it for that long, and then they sell it to another private equity firm. I didn't know that. It wasn't a thing a common person would know. Well, unfortunately, this company was near the end of that life cycle for this group of our family of companies that I had sold to. And right about that moment when they were getting to the end of the life cycle, COVID hit. People were home. People had stimulus checks. Everybody's working from home, had tons of time on their hands. What can you do? I can't go to a baseball game, but I can be in my garage with my buddies working on my car. And so our sales and all of our sister companies, our sales went through the roof. During that COVID craziness, our current owners decided to put us on the market. And that was the beginning of the downfall emotionally and of our team, of what happened to us when we sold and when the market fell out in the aftermarket community. And the reason that happened is our previous owners did sell high. And I think the new owners coming in had possibly unrealistic expectations that this crazy year of growth we had was just the new norm. Like, we were going to go up this percentage every year, which I think is totally unrealistic, and I think most of the people in the industry knew that that wasn't sustainable, but maybe they thought this is the new norm. And so in that deal, they bought high and the market fell out, okay? So they had some pretty immediate hard decisions to make, because with these deals, these private equity firms are not just paying cash for them. So they're really sensitive to revenue, profit changes, especially down a lot. And so that started happening almost immediately after they bought our family of companies. Well, when you have hundreds of employees and basically a mortgage payment due, that's when people started getting laid off. And I was actually on the first round. To get let go was a pretty big hit for me personally. And I am still actually pretty frustrated how that went down. Fast forward a year later, things are still terrible, like sales-wise. They're having to make cuts. We're not going to events. A lot of the fun stuff, the good, like we are grassroots, we are enthusiasts, this is the secret sauce. Those items were getting cut. So that heart of who we were and who some of our sister companies were had to get cut. And then right after that, I got notified that we were shutting our entire operations down and relocating with one of our sister companies out on the East Coast. And that was kind of the final worst case scenario as a small business owner. This is what you don't want to happen, and it just happened. Most of the team isn't going to relocate. That means that most of the team is losing their jobs. And so that was a really heavy moment for me and my family. I felt some responsibility for this team being torn apart. And this team was really important to me, and I know the team was really important to each other, and it couldn't have been any better of a close-knit family. And that got torn apart at that moment. And that was really heart-wrenching to watch. A lot of these guys were really close friends, and they became friends because they worked here. And to watch that get destroyed was tough. And so at that point, I started thinking, Justin, you gotta save these jobs. Because there's no way this is how the story is ending. There's no way I'm gonna let this amazing GS company that I was so proud of and that we were all so proud of end like this. There's no way. So if I can be really frank, I'm at the point of being done watching these corporate roll-ups, these corporate takeovers try to destroy our special community we have here. So the number one thing I can do is create another company, and that's what we're doing. The company name is OVERTAKE, and our mission here is to fight back and show you guys again what these really enthusiast-driven companies are like. We're gonna spend the rest of the coming years, as long as you guys will let us be here, making this community as good as we possibly can. This is our passion. This is our love. We want to protect this community, this enthusiast market, just as much as you guys want it to be protected. And so we will work hand in hand with you guys, creating innovation, keeping jobs here, being at events, showing up, listening to you, crowdsourcing with you, helping you make these cars as good as we can. That's our job, is to make this a more fun community. And so OVERTAKE's gonna do that. We will. The thing is, we're brand new, right? We have no followers. We have no street cred, other than the fact that, hey, this is a lot of, these are our values at GS, and we're doing that again. But we have no street cred, so we need your help following us, spreading the word, believing in what I'm saying, that it's not BS. Help us start that snowball, which is really tiny right now, rolling down the hill. And as we do that, we will add awesome team members that are just like you, because they are you, to our team, and we'll get back to what we once were. To get this thing started, I want to get this line of communication going. Again, like I said at the beginning, you guys know my name, but you have no idea who I am. I think you have a good idea of the values of GS. That is who I am, but we've never had this conversation. So I would love to keep this going. So to get that started, the first 25 people that actually give me solid questions in the comments below get a free banner. And we have a few different colors, but we'll send them out. Ask me a great question. It can be from any time period in this whole thing, from year one to today. Post them below. We'll pick out a solid 25 of them that are decent, and on the next video, I'll start answering those questions. I don't know if I can get to all of them on the first video, but let's at least get it started. So please, comment below. I'm gonna be watching this. The whole team here is gonna be watching this, and we'll get right to your questions right away. So again, thank you, and you'll see a hell of a lot more of us. Please support us. Until next time.